Has anything come yet?
Milk.
No, I mean be post.
I'd like to know what you were expecting.
Can't you answer a straight question?
It's been and gone and there's naught for you. Now you're satisfied.
Couldn't you say that in first place?
Well, I'd still like to know what you're expecting.
You'll see it when it comes, and you've just smudged your cascara.
Me what?
That black stuff you're putting on your eyes.
Mascara, you duck egg.
Well, what the odds?
I'll give you something to swallow and you'll soon find out. By the way, I want you to pop round to our Linda's. She's going round to the doctor's this morning. I want to find out what he says.
Can't you ask her yourself when you see her?
Look, why don't you do as you told us for once in a while? You're about to become an uncle and you do you good to get into practice.
All right, don't go on about it. Hey, what's Ivan doing about that pram?
He's taking it back, of course. Oh, when I found out he got the same model as me, I nearly died laughing.
You better hang on to it for a bit. Our Linda might do the dirty on him presenting me twins.
She better not. I'll have something to say about that. It's going back, of course. Higher purchase, indeed. It pays twice as much as that. What you doing with that radio?
Deaf.
Well, turn it down. Turn it down. I said you're not deaf. Oh, the top of my head's coming off.
Can't blooming well do out round here.
You do all right, and that's a fact.
Where's that copy at stage gone?
Under your nose if you'll only look.
Oh, aye.
Classified adverts has come to that, has it?
Just looking.
Ah, I know, but what do you expect to find today's winners?
You never know your luck, do you? Girl dancers wanted. Tall, attractive girls wanted. Young girl required to train.
I'll bet. Oh, where's me handbag?
They earn themselves good money, I can tell you. Do you know, ma'am, some of them acts at our club, they knock up at 50 quid a week.
For doing what, I'd like to know?
All sorts. Singing, instrumentalists, then there's dancers and strippers.
50 quid a week for taking your clothes off.
Yeah, more, some of them.
Oh, I don't know. And here's me slogging me guts out for a measly 7 quid, trying to convince women to put more clothes on. I'm in the wrong flaming business, that's me.
Oh, it's never too late for a change, you know. You've not got such a bad figure for your age.
Right. 50 quid for taking your clothes off. Well, I'm off. And don't forget what I told you.
OK.
Had to hear from the brewer this morning, Jack, about our holidays.
Oh, what do they say?
We regret that we cannot confirm that the dates mentioned by you will be suitable.
That's very decent of them, isn't it?
As this depends on the availability of a relief manager.
Oh.
They are, you see, we can't go ahead and book.
Where are you thinking of going this year, anyway? Well, I'd like to go to Scotland. I've only been there once before, but there's some grand fishing there.
Well, but that all depends upon the weather, though, doesn't it?
Well, that applies wherever you go, doesn't it?
Hey, I'll tell you what, Dan.
Huh?
Have you ever thought of going on one of these coach tours?
Nah, you get stiffened on them. I mean, sitting on your beam end all day.
Oh, aye, but just think of all the interesting places you get to see in one holiday.
I wouldn't see 'em. I should be fast asleep.
How about hiring a car and going to a place on your own? That's the sort of holiday I fancy.
That's all right for young uns like you.
Where's your spirit of adventure, Dad?
Gone down the drain, lad, years ago. I'm built for comfort now.
Say that again.
No, it's Scotland for me and a nice quiet bit of fishing.
Would either of you two be interested in where I'd like to go?
Oh, where would you like to go, Annie, love?
My choice is Torquay.
That's where you're going, as like as not. Nay, Annie, I'm not keen on Torquay.
Well, I am. It's a very nice class of places, there's Torquay. It's a nice place, and there's a nice class of people who goes there.
Oh, but it's so hilly.
Oh, no, it's not as hilly as Scotland. Don't come back one, Jack Walker.
Tell you what, Mum. Why don't you take separate holidays? You go to Torquay and let Daddy go to Scotland.
Well, that's an idea.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Well, it's a new idea anyway, and I'm always game for trying out out new.
Yes, well, I'd call it the thin end of a wedge.
Oh, what's that mean?
Well, you start by having separate holidays, like a couple of film stars. Then maybe you have a go at a trial separation. Then later on, perhaps a trial marriage with somebody else. I know how these things start.
Ah, now, look here, Annie. Now, see here, love, you've never been to Scotland, and you don't know... All right, say no more. Which hotel would you like to stop at in Torquay?
Good old Dad.
And you take that smile off your face before I wipe it off.
He's late.
Yeah, well, that means he had to go out to an urgent call.
Don't you give me that, that's what he'd like you to think. As like as not, he's sitting in there with his feet up reading the paper. I'm not sitting here much longer like this, I can tell you.
Now, what are you going to do?
Give him another 2 minutes and bang on that door.
Oh, you wouldn't dare.
Who wouldn't dare? I've tackled bigger fellas than that basin full of Scotch broth in there, I can tell you. I'm taking them down a peg or two.
Oh, some folks have no patience.
We could report him for this, you know.
Well, go on then, who's stopping you?
Well, let's see what he's got to say first. Ooh, blooming seats, they give you corns.
Well, you can say what you like, but he's a very fair fella, and he knows his job too.
What makes you say that, might I ask?
Well, he's always treated me right.
How many times have you been to see him?
As often as I thought necessary.
And how often does he examine you? Go on, tell me that if you can.
I reckon that's a private matter between him and me.
Yes, all right. Well, you go on. I'll tell you. I can guess. Not once, I'll bet. That blooming stethoscope in there of his has got roots on it by now, I'll bet. National health doctors, all they're fit for is sitting on the backsides and writing on bits of paper. I wouldn't pay them in washers.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't you? Who was I talking to yesterday? Oh, Bob Tasker's girl. She'd been to see her doctor. Only but put her nose inside the door. What's your name? What's your address? He barks at her. Well, she gives him that. And within 4 seconds, she's outside on the pavement with 4 pieces of paper in her hand. Bottle for the, a note for a bottle, one for the doctor, one for the sick, and one for maternity hospital.
Why, was she having a baby?
Of course she was, but how that fella found out is a mystery of all time. By gum, they're outright lost. I can remember that time I had that trouble with me back. Brrr, these fellas with their cold hands.
Right you are, Mrs. McIntyre, thank you.
See what I mean?
Ah, Mrs. Sharples, I heard you were here.
Ah, it's just as well to raise your voice once in a while. Well, I'm first.
Yeah, well, that's what you call a merciful release.
Say that again with knobs on.
Hey, you don't take her serious, do
You
you?
can't do anything else when she's bellowing 2 inches from your ear hole. I wasn't feeling too bad about this baby when I come in here this morning. And I'm fed up with the old business.
I'm off colour.
Oh, yes. And which particular colour are you off today?
Oh, it's my bronchitis that's plaguing me. Phlegm stuck in my chest here. I can't shift it for love nor money. I'll have a bottle of that there Chlorodyne stuff if you don't mind.
Help yourself, Mrs. Sharples.
What's that for?
Well, you've given me the diagnosis and treatment. I thought you might like to write out the prescription yourself.
Now, don't be like that. I'm only trying to be helpful and save your valuable time, if you don't doubt it.
That's very considerate of you, but I think if you don't mind, we'll spend some of that valuable time examining your chest, shall
Oh,
we?
no, I'm not dressed for no examination, Doctor.
Oh, that doesn't make any difference to me, Mrs. Sharple. I find it much more helpful if the patient gets undressed. Now, come along.
No, we'll leave that till last time. Just give me a bottle and let me go.
All right. You won't get away with this so easily again.
Have you put that extra Chlorodyne in? Last bottle looked and tasted like brown water.
I know, it's just the usual bottle. But I've put in something for your prolapse glossus.
Hey, what?
Prolapse glossus.
What's that when it's there?
Oh, it's something me doctors are always running up against. Rightly translated, it means slip tongue. Good morning, Mrs. Sharples. And the next. Ah, Mr. Turlock.
Hello, Doctor. How are you going on?
Oh, not too bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm a bit under the weather, you know. But I haven't come here for a checkup or out like that. No, I just wondered if you'd got a good tonic you could let me have.
Oh, I'm afraid we've run out of good ones.
Eh?
Let's do things the old-fashioned way, shall we, Mr. Turlock?
How do you mean?
Well, supposing you sit there and tell me what it is that's wrong with you, and I'll diagnose and decide whether there's anything I can do for you.
Ah, well, that seems fair enough. Well, I think I've got a touch of blood pressure.
Oh, yes, and what makes you think that?
Well, every time I bend down to tie my bootlaces or out like that, I get a flushing in my head.
Aye, so do I.
Do you? Have you got blood pressure at all?
No, I haven't, Mr. Turlock, and neither have you. You see, it's perfectly normal for the blood to go to your head when you bend down.
Oh, I know that, but it's never happened on me before.
Anyway, I took your blood pressure a month ago, and it was all right then.
Well, I don't remember.
Oh, do you not remember I put something round your arm and pumped it up?
Oh, aye. But I thought you were just taking blood pressure on my arm. It's my head I'm worried about.
Ah, now, look, Mr. Turlock, your blood pressure is exactly the same from the top of your head to the tip of your toes.
Is that so?
Mm.
I never knew that before. You live and learn, don't
Yeah.
you? So I've got nothing to worry about.
I'm certain of it, Mr. Turlock.
Hey, well, that's a real load off my mind, that is. Right then, well, I'll tell you what. I'll settle for that tonic.
Will you? So will I, Mr. Turlock.
Right, well, if you'll just write down that I can have one...
Hello, Mrs. Walker. Oh, can I give you a hand?
No, thanks, love. I've nearly finished. Pass me that bottle of whiskey, will you? And that's the lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've heard from the brewery this morning about our holidays.
Oh, is it all settled then?
No, there's some trouble about the relief manager or something.
Oh, I'm sure they'll find one soon.
Yes, well, if he's as nice as the one they had last year... What's the matter, love?
Oh, nothing. Why?
You look a bit down in the dumps. Has something happened?
No, nothing at all.
Now, love, it's not like you to look like that. Come on, out with it. A trouble shared is a trouble halved, you know.
Well, I have got something on my mind, and that's the truth.
I can see that, love. It's as plain as a pikestaff.
I wonder if I could have a quiet word with you then.
Well, of course you can. I'd be only too glad to help.
Well, it is sort of private.
Now, you know me, Concepta. I keep myself strictly to myself.
Oh, I know that, Mrs. Walker. That's why you're the only one I can talk to about
I'll
it.
tell you what, love. Let's go into the kitchen. There's nobody there. We can have a real good heart-to-heart. Not done anything silly, have you?
Oh, no, Mrs. Walker, nothing like that. But, well, it is about Harry and me. He just won't talk about it, Mrs. Walker. Every time I mention it, it closes up like a clam.
Well, I am surprised, Concepta. Harry's such a sensible lad.
Oh, we wouldn't have got as far as we have if he wasn't the sensible man that he is.
And you are quite certain that the religious side means so much to him.
I just know it does.
Well, how can you be so sure, love, if he hasn't said anything?
Because he's willing to talk about everything else but that. Money, to be sure. Children, to be sure. But religion. Every time I mention it, he says, oh, it'll be all right, or things will sort themselves out. He's worried about it, Mrs. Walker, and so am I, sick.
Well, it does sound to me, love, as though you may have gone about it the wrong way.
Well, what is the right way, except to ask him point blank?
The right way is to be very much firmer than you have been.
But I've been as firm as I know how. Twice I nearly lost my temper with him.
What did that do?
Oh, he knows how to get round that all right.
Well, there you are, you see. Now, it's obvious, isn't it, love, that you've got to pin him down sometime. Well, there's so much to settle. How are you getting married and where?
Oh, sometimes I wonder if I'm doing the right thing after all.
Now, Concepta, talking like that's going to get you nowhere. You're in love with the man, aren't you?
He knows I am.
And you're quite certain of his feelings for you?
Indeed I am.
Well, then that's as good a beginning as any I know. It leaves you room for plenty of straight talk without any fear of falling out.
Oh, there's something else as well.
Oh, what's that?
I wrote to my parents in Ireland. I had a letter back this morning.
Is it bad?
My father won't hear of it at all. Giving me a fair roasting, he has.
Oh, poor Concepta. You've got it thick and strong, haven't you?
Indeed I have.
Will it make any difference?
No, not one little bit. As long as Harry and me can sort it out between us.
Well, love, it's up to you and no one else. Unless, of course, you'd like me to have a word with him.
Oh, no, Mrs. Walker. I don't think Harry'd take very kindly to that.
Well, I'm quite willing to if it would help.
Oh, I know, and I appreciate it, but as you say, it's up to me now. I'll just have to dig my toes in and have it out with him once and for all.
Well, you know, you can count on me at any time. And Jack as well, if it comes to that.
I'll remember, Mrs. Walker. You've been very kind.
Yes. You sit down there, I'll get them. Hiya. Any free coffee tonight? Who's that? It's just a lad. Is it? You don't have to be so funny. Where'd you meet him? He's a mate of my brother's, if you must know. Keep him to yourself, you're welcome.
Any cakes?
Hey, you can't have them for nothing.
Oh. What are them like?
Hey, you can't have cakes for nothing, you know. He knows. What are you having? What am I having?
You can have one of them if you like.
I'll have a vanilla slice.
It's up to you.
This is a friend of mine, Doreen. She works at the same place as I do.
Aye.
This is Cyril.
Ooh, Cyril.
Oh. Would you like one of them, Cyril? They're smashing, they are, Cyril. Or perhaps you'd rather have one of them, Cyril.
I'll have one of them. Can you put them in the bag for us?
What do you want them in a bag for?
To eat and pictures.
Is that what you're going to do in the pictures? Eat.
I get hungry.
Put them in a bag. Certainly. Anything for Cyril. There you are. Put this change, Cyril.
Hey, come on, drink your coffee. We're going to miss the cartoon. See ya.
Sure are. Have a lovely time. It's better than nothing.
Hello, how's life then?
Oh, it's all right. If you've got time to enjoy it.
What's the matter? Are they overworking you?
It would be if I were dope enough to let him. Well, what can I get you?
I'll double your turkeys by the price of a cuppa.
You want anything with it?
Go on, I'll risk it. Give me a plate and bun. Where are all your customers then?
Oh, they'll be in. They can't be stuffing their faces all the time. There are other things to think about in life, you know.
Such as what?
Be of age, Mr. A.
I'd rather be yours any day.
Flattery will get you nowhere. That's 10 pence.
Here, I'll keep the change.
Mint coat, here I come.
Where's your lady boss then? Have you given her the night off, have you?
Oh, she's gallivanting somewhere. Bet she'll be in later.
Must be nice to have husband on the road. When's he due back?
I don't know, I'm sure. Why are you so interested?
Oh, I was just thinking I might have a bit of a proposition for her.
Oh, yes. I've heard all about your propositions. What is it this time?
Do you know what's the matter with this place? It wants modernising.
Looks all right to me.
Ah, it's behind the times. It's got no appeal for the young.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I didn't mean you, love. No, you've got what it takes, all right. I'm talking about the cafe. What you want here is a couple of automatic machines, you know, print tables, one of these one-armed bandits.
These what?
You know, fruit machines, 3 lemons, and you've got the jackpot once in a while if you're lucky.
Then.
You pack them in like sardines, you put your takings up by 100%.
Where are you supposed to get these here machines?
Well, me and my associates are at that end. We'll take our share of the profits, of course, but there'll be plenty left over for the cafe, and there's no extra work involved. Sounds all right, eh?
Sounds all right.
Aye, well, I've got to see a man about something. How about you putting in a word for me with your lady boss when she comes in?
Me? She won't notice me.
Well, why not? You're a smart kid, aren't you? I'll tell you what, you start the ball rolling for me, and if it comes off, I'll see you right.
What do you mean by that?
Money, my girl, money.
Men.
Hello, Arthur.
Hi, Dennis.
What are you doing at home?
I'm taking it easy.
Oh, that's no change. It's not like you to stay at home on your night off.
I'm broke.
Oh, that's not unusual either.
Hello.
Oh, well, sit down, won't you?
What was film night?
Oh, a bit noisy. Now, one of them epics, there's bodies all over the place.
Right. 3 hours of it, enough tomato ketchup to fill a bathtub. What you having?
Oh, a cup of tea, do nice,
Oh,
I think.
give up
No, I mean
that.
it straight.
Oh, well, look, what are you worried about? You're not on duty, are
I've
you?
got a spot of work to do when I leave here.
Oh, these bloodhounds of the law. Well, a bottle of beer won't come between you and your victim, will it?
I'd really rather not help.
Luke, if he wants tea, give him tea and stop arguing, will you?
Oh, all right, Rockefeller, what will you have?
I'll have anything what's going.
I don't suppose you thought to put the kettle on, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, well, leave it to Mum, she'll do it. Oh, what about our Linda?
Yeah, I've seen her.
Well?
Well, everything's all right according to the doctor, but she'd had a basin full of Venus apples while she was in waiting room.
Oh, and what did that nattering old bag have to say?
Oh, just yatter, yatter, yatter as usual.
That woman's tongue, if it was a bit longer, she could shave with it.
I hear you caught that fellow what did Rover's job, Arthur.
Oh, yeah, we got him for breaking an engine a couple of nights ago in the warehouse. He confessed to a number of jobs, including the Rovers.
Yeah. Anybody we know?
No, just a tet from the other side of the town.
Mugs game, innit?
Well, so they tell me. There's one born every minute.
Yeah, and 2 on Sundays.
Well, how's the club going?
Oh, a bit under thumb.
Oh, cheesed off with it, are you?
Yeah, getting that way. I'm not staying there all my life, you know.
Well, what are you thinking of doing then?
Oh, I got ideas. I got ambitions, too.
Oh, good for you. Private, are they?
Just now they are. But I expect you'll get to know Arthur sooner or later, of course.
How did you get on at the doctor's, Ina?
Well, if you'd come with me like I asked you to this morning, you'd know by now, wouldn't you?
Well, I couldn't come this morning. You know I couldn't.
Why not? Every time I ask you to go somewhere, you're always busy. What were you doing this morning that was so important anyway?
Well, I had to go for me coppers.
You could have gone for your coppers any time. Don't make daft excuses.
It's not an excuse, Ina. I only do one thing one day. If I did everything on the same day, I'd have naught to do for the rest of the week.
Anyway, there's no point in going to doctors if you're feeling all right.
Who says she's feeling all right?
I do, Ina.
What about that blackout you had last Thursday?
Oh, that was nothing.
We made no fuss about it at the time. You did everything but shout for the fire brigade.
You know, I ought to go to the doctors, really. Trouble is, I've been feeling too poorly to go just lately.
Trouble is, since you put it up for a bob, you've been too mean to go.
No, you know, that's not right. We always go when we have to, don't
Of course we do. Old Dr. Tinsley used to say I were his best customer.
I'm talking about old Dr. Tinsley. I'm talking about the chap that's there now. And you don't need to wait until you're dying to go. You want to come along for the laughs. So what there is to laugh about with Dr. Graham, I don't quite see. He's a hard-faced and that.
Do you think so, Ina? I think he's got rather a nice face.
Might take a pair of glasses and have a good look next time.
You who were there this morning, Ina?
Oh, Elsie Tanner's girl, Linda, for one.
Oh, I wonder what she'll have.
Oh, but as long as it's human, I don't suppose it'll matter. Oh, whether it'll look the part coming from that family, I have my doubts.
Yeah, I say. Conceptor's looking a bit washed out tonight, isn't she?
Not surprised, are you? Courting takes it out of you, you know.
Do you think it'll come off all right?
I do not. Never in a month of Sundays.
Why, haven't I, Ina?
Well, Harry, it'll come to his senses long before she's got him chained down.
Well, Well, I'm surprised he ever lost his senses over a girl like that.
Oh, I think Concepta's a very nice girl.
Well, if you think that, Minnie Caldwell, you're no judge of character.
I'm as good a judge as you are, Martha Longhurst. And what's more, I hope they do get wed.
I'll be out in your pocket if they do, won't it?
No, I know. But I like to see young folk get wed when they're in love with each other. It warms your heart.
Does it now? Well, personally, I'd rather have a good hot water bottle to do that for me. Anyhow, it's one way of getting a cheap housekeeper.
Oh, what do you mean, Ena?
Oh, use your brains. Why pay £3.10 a week when you can get the same for 7 and 6 flat and everything thrown in?
Oh, Ena.
Oh, she's quite right there. I wouldn't put it past Harry Hewitt to do a thing like that. After all, he has got little Lucille to think about, hasn't he?
Poor Charles pushed around from pillar to post. She doesn't know where her next meal's coming from. Though whether she'll fare any better with a stepmother, I doubt. Anyway, it'll not come to anything, you mark my words. Them sort of marriages are doomed from the start. Cat and dog affairs, that's all they are.
Well, my cousin Emily's youngest girl married a widower with a little lad, and they're as happy as the day's long.
How do you know?
I heard.
No, that's your trouble, Minnie Caldwell. You're ready to believe out you're told.
Oh, no, I don't, Martha. I'm not as green as I'm cabbage-looking, you know.
Let's not go too deeply into that. We might come to some rather embarrassing conclusions. Drink up.
You know you want your head looking at. 2 mornings on the run, you're up before the crack of dawn.
What if I am?
Oh, what time are you finishing at this club of yours?
Same as usual, about 2.
And 2 mornings on the run, you're up before 8:30?
Right, go on, make a big to-do about it.
It's no bother to me, but if you carry on like this, you'll be wearing yourself down to a short haircut.
All right, you've had your little say. Now, has it come yet? And don't ask me, has what come?
No, it hasn't.
Oh, flipping it.
I only wish whatever it was you were expecting would arrive, and then perhaps we'd have some peace in the morning.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, Mother's little pride and joy.
That's it.
Stark staring bonkers.
Right, thanks very much. Bye-bye. Here we are.
Oh, let me help. Well, what is it? Fun?
It's a guitar. What do you think it is?
What the... Well, I know it's a guitar. I can see that. I'm not that daft, but whose is it?
It's mine.
Well, who's Ricky Dennis?
It's me. How do you fancy me?